my goodness.
What's up?
This is crazy.
It's good to be back.
I was just gonna say we have not sat here. I'm like cheesing kind of.
I know, it's nice to be back in the
Back
zone
in the saddle, baby. It's been a month since we filmed, which is wild.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Life has been very crazy. We've planned a few times to do some episodes, and then we just life happened.
Yeah.
But now even more life is happening. I feel like there's things I want to talk about, but we can't talk about them yet. So
You're on the hook. This is like fish on the hook.
there's quite a few things.
Yeah.
That are in.
Yeah, you can't talk about that yet.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, this is exciting.
Also, I just want to take a second to tell you, you look bomb.
Thanks.
Damn, my wife is hot.
Wow, I feel the same about you today.
Thank you.
I mean, a lot of days, every day, but today is you look great.
There's a lot of
Ooh, there's a lot of tension here. Should we leave? Should we go?
Bye-bye.
Yeah, lots of crazy stuff has been happening.
You're about to say lots of crazy sex.
Right, no.
I think we should just kind of do some little bit of life updates.
Okay. We should probably intro.
Okay.
I forget how this thing goes.
I know.
We intro, what do we do? Let's intro.
Welcome to the Queer Social. I'm Andie. My pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Jess. My pronouns are she, her.
It's been a minute.
I feel like because we haven't filmed in a month that we should have a lot more life updates, but we don't really have that many. 4th of July just happened.
4th of July just happened. Yeah.
Woo, what a doozy. I feel like 4th of July has a lot of pressure on it.
It does.
Every year you're like, what are you doing for 4th of July? It just has to be a big thing.
Especially where we are too, because Tahoe is such a big place for 4th of July.
Yeah.
You know, everyone goes up to the lake.
By the way, pick up your fucking trash.
Yeah, dude.
Okay?
Not cool. If you came to Tahoe and you left your litter everywhere, just be a better fucking human.
This is so insane. We saw viral videos. We didn't go up to Tahoe because when it's that crazy, I'm like, let's just stay down here.
Yeah, no.
Insane amount of trash.
It's so disrespectful.
It is.
It's harmful to the environment, the animals. It's just so rude. I don't understand why it's that hard to pick up after yourself. We're all adults.
I don't get it either.
Just pick up your trash and take care of the environment. You like going to Tahoe? It's beautiful. You want it to stay that way? Then
Keep it beautiful. Keep Tahoe blue. That's why they say it.
Exactly.
Pick up your trash. Anyways, 4th of July.
4th of July, we had our family come up, which was really cool because my sister from Wisconsin came out, and your cousins, who are pretty much my cousins because we've been together for so long. Cousins came up from California, and one of our cousins who we haven't seen for a few years came from Tennessee, which was really special for all of us.
It was just really fun to be able to reconnect after not seeing family for a long time. So that was really fun. Before they came though, whenever we host, it's a whole thing. We feel like we gotta just, Andie's, especially with your OCD, you literally are not okay unless the house is perfection.
Yeah, I think the house is a reflection of me and the way that I keep my things. And also for me, when my area is clean and my environment is clean and things are organized and put together, it's less chaos in my mind. I can focus on other things,
Yeah.
And I think when people come to the house, I want them to feel comfortable, but I don't want them to feel like they're walking on eggshells. Yes, you're in a clean environment.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person who, I'm not going to yell at you for being dirty in my house. I'm just going to clean up after you.
Yeah, that's true.
I just follow behind and clean up stuff.
Yeah, Andie's sneakily okay, that's going in the trash. But they're where did my can go? And it's gone. It's just gone. Doesn't matter if there was a quarter left, it's gone.
It's nice having me as your host because you don't really have to do much. I don't know, that's just that's my vibe.
We did a lot of prep to have people come. We went to Costco, which is my favorite place. I love Costco. This is the thing. I love Costco for a few reasons. One, they have bulk goldfish. That's very important.
Yes. For you it is.
It's so important. 2, they have bulk packs of bagels, like 2 for 1.
Yep.
And muffins 2 for 1. Like
Yes.
all the carbs you could want for the price of one. Like what a freaking steal.
What a steal.
And don't get me started on the dollar, what, 25 or 50?
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter. $1 something, hot dogs.
Hot dogs are fucking fire.
Yeah.
And a Costco dog is top tier.
If you have not had a Costco dog, like I'm just going to say it right now, you are not living. Okay? You're not living.
You're not American.
Costco dogs are superior. And just, if you like hot dogs, do yourself a favor. If you don't have a fucking card, find a friend who has a card, ask to go with for one trip
Or
for a hot
sneak in
dog.
the exit and ask somebody to buy you a hot dog.
True.
And give them $1.
That's true. While we were there, we obviously stocked up on like all the goods. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Costco, my favorite drink you can get on Costco.com. So I've tried to be way better about not drinking coffee because I crash so bad.
And you do really good with it. And
I
I'm
know.
getting better as well. But I will say this drink has gotten me over the hump.
Pure Boost.
Pure Boost.
This is the one drink, in all honesty, that has like made me feel really good throughout the entire day.
Also, I love that it's very clean, right? But it also has vitamins and it's electrolytes. So for me, I'm addicted to electrolytes. So.
Addicted is not even the right, like, you are a fiend.
I am. So this is like the perfect thing for me. Pure Boost definitely gives me that calm, focused energy, which is very important for my ADHD ass.
I also love that you mix it with water.
Yes.
Like most energy drinks are just full of shit,
Sugar,
honestly. Yeah. And like this one, like I have my water. I'm ready to go. I'm putting my packet in just a
I was
second.
gonna say we were struggling to get to set today.
Yeah, right. You can actually get Pure Boost on Costco.com, and they're having a sale on July 10th through the 26th. So I would not sleep on this.
Yeah, stock up now and I think the sale too, it's going to be like $10 off, which is awesome.
Also, you can only get it on Costco.com, not in the stores just yet. So I would run, do not walk. It's honestly an amazing product, and they're sponsoring today's episode.
Yeah.
So thank you, Pure Boost. We are so stoked to have you guys a part of the episode, and could not have gone through July 4th without you, baby.
No.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of me, as I'm getting older, I'm less inclined to socialize. Is that crazy?
Or it's
because I'm dating you. I don't know.
You're not dating me.
Oh, right. We're married.
You're married to
Sometimes
me.
I forget about that, but we're still dating. You date your partner forever.
Oh, okay. That was good. That was good.
I threw a little twist on that to make it work.
Yeah, didn't you? You brought the audience back on your side.
Reel them in. Okay. Anyways, guys, so July 4th was wild. It was fun. I love when family can be around Milo. It's like my all-time favorite thing in life.
Speaking of Milo, this episode is
Nice segue.
Yeah, this episode we are going to talk about our fertility journey and how we conceived Milo.
Yeah, we got so many questions about like wanting to know about the process. And look, a little disclaimer, not every process looks the same. I'll tell you, they actually look very different.
Yeah.
There are guidelines, right, that you follow in the process of getting pregnant as same-sex couples, depending on which method you choose. But it doesn't go according to plan, right? And if it does, you're very blessed and you're very lucky. So there's a lot that goes into fertility journeys. And so I just wanted to say before, like, we dove in that we're going to be chatting about our experience. This is not universal. It doesn't mean that this is everyone's experience or process. This is just what we did, what we went through, and kind of like our journey.
And how we created our family.
Yes, exactly. I think a good place to start would be a lot of people want to know how you know you're ready. Because I think that's a big thing is like, somebody just asked me this in person like 3 days ago. Yes. She literally asked me, she goes, Jess, how did you and Andie know that you guys were ready to have a baby? And that's a really good question.
It's no secret that I didn't want to have kids.
In the beginning.
So for me, it took a lot more having a lot more conversations seeing how Jess was around other kids, seeing how she was with a family. Like, it took a lot of years for me to just kind of see how things were. And it's weird because I look back now and, like, of course, right, when you're in a relationship, you're like, oh my God, like, I love these baby names. Like, yeah, you might as well get the ASMR shake in there.
I just didn't want you to talk over this. Okay, we're fine. Go ahead.
So I think it's really common in a lot of relationships, right? Even like when you're in like newer relationships, you're like, oh my God, if I had a baby, I would name him this. Or like you get like super excited about like baby names. Like it's interesting to hear like what your person that you're with, like, so like we would talk about like those things, right? Or like, what did we like, how did we want to raise our kids? Like we had those conversations. So when I think back about it,
you were always like entertaining the idea.
Well, that, and I feel like we spoke Milo into existence.
Yeah, we did.
So for me, it's like we already created that space for Milo in our life because we would talk about it so much.
Yes.
And that was mainly because we were trying to get like me to put aside my childhood stuff that I went through to be able to look at having my own child in a positive light. And I think when we were taking the space to do that, and like my therapy that I went through to do that, is when I realized, okay, yeah, like I think, you know, it's ready. Like even when we were doing it, I was like, oh shit, we're doing this. We're doing it, you know. And with same sex, like that is a choice that you are making, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with heterosexuals, it
sometimes it could just happen.
Exactly. So
sometimes, because sometimes it can't.
Exactly. So I think for us, like with it being such a planned thing, that made me feel a little bit better because it was jokes on me because like we have no control on anything, but it made me think, like have an illusion that I had control on something, and that ultimately helped me be like, okay, I think we're ready to do this.
I think we had a lot of conversations that were tough conversations, but to be like, this is what I'm afraid of, right? Like, this is my fear of starting a family, of raising kids. And then once you bring those fears to the table, like, you kind of become more, I guess, at ease with them to know, like, okay, if I feel like I don't have a good grasp on something, you do. Like, it's the balance of our relationship, right? And where we can show up differently for a kid and raising a kid. So I definitely think, honestly, just pure communication. We talk about communication all the time, but it is key. The amount of talks that we had, I think, really helped us to be like, we're ready. You know, like after you talk through the finances and the fears and the process and getting comfortable with the idea of bringing a baby into the world, like if we didn't have those conversations, I don't know how comfortable you would have been.
To be real with you, I don't think that I would have agreed to do it because my idea of parenting is a team. No matter what, like that's your person you go through the trenches with. So for me, and this may come across cynical, but I did not think that I would find a person that I could go through the trenches with when it came to having a child. Yeah. So it really took, I mean, how many years? 8 years?
Basically.
Yeah, we around year 8 of us being together is when we really got serious and started like the research process of going into
clinics,
talking, what happens next, donors, things like that. So
it took 8 years for you. I would have done it very soon, probably. I am glad that we waited, though. I am glad because we were super ready when the time came. But yeah, I mean,
I'm sure there would have been an accident if I had a wiener. So
that's probably true. So I think the first thing we did when we started our journey is we watched we did a lot of research on YouTube. Yeah. So we watched a lot of YouTubers document their journey because we didn't really know where to start, honestly. And Google's great and all, but also there's just
a lot of medical terms and stuff too.
Find the hashtag that works for you.
Exactly.
And so that's what we did. We did a lot of research.
We watched a lot of vlogs. We watched a lot of people like going through the process, the different types of procedures as well. And then we cross-referenced, right? So we looked at what things were available in our city and then surrounding within like probably like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, just in case we had to travel for a good clinic. Luckily, there is one
We
right
got really
here
lucky.
in
Like,
Reno.
we have one of the top clinics actually in the nation. The doctor
Really?
that, he's like actually pretty
Top
high
tier.
up there. So very strange for Reno, but hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. You got that fertility on lock.
Exactly. So yeah, that was kind of where we started, was like watching other people's vlogs at the time and just kind of seeing the process, because like I said, when you Google it, you can find like all these same sex like resources, right? But like you got for us, we needed to connect with somebody to be like, okay, like, oh, that's how I feel about this, or that's how I feel about this. Like, maybe we could do that process, you know?
We also didn't know how much it would cost. We didn't really know any of that. So YouTube, with the right searching, you can find a lot of good information.
And there's going to be some variation depending on like what state you're in. But this is where the next step came in of, we looked up what the procedures were that some of the YouTube people that we were following use. And the main one that we saw was IUI.
Yeah. Intrauterine insemination. That was what we wanted to go with. A lot of people try at home. A lot of people go straight for IVF. The reason why we went with IUI is, there's a lot of reasons, but the first and foremost is that I have PCOS. And with PCOS, it can be like a side effect of it is that you can have trouble with fertility. So I did not want to chance money and tries and emotions and all of that stuff with trying at home. I just wanted to go straight to the clinic. So we went to the clinic. Like I said, luckily there's one in Reno, so we made an appointment there. By the way, make an appointment well in advance, because a lot of these facilities are booked out, and so we had to wait a few months to be able to go.
Most places make you do a consultation first anyway, before you even get into what it takes to start the process to making a baby. So
we went to our consultation. Little did we know, you get a free vaginal ultrasound. We were not prepared. I was like, I did not prepare for this today, but we're here, so let's just do it.
And that was really hard for me, honestly, because I have a lot of obviously body dysphoria, like a lot of trauma too around like doctors' offices and stuff, being trans. So that I was not looking forward to that, but I was just thinking about my future children.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, like we actually had a talk behind closed doors, and we were like, do you want to reschedule? Is this something that you're ready to do? Because a vaginal ultrasound or exam of any sort is like can be invasive, especially if you're not prepared or you have past trauma, whatever it is. That is kind of like to be sprung up, like, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
So we did talk about it, and you were like, all right, let's just do it because we're here.
Yeah, I was already here. I'm the type of person that like really, like, you really got to pull teeth to like get me to go anywhere like that. But it's actually good, because I found out I had a super ovary, and I was like, hell yeah, I do. So
yeah, you were stoked on that one.
I was really stoked on it, because I was like, hell yeah, like that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like, I don't know, I'm doing something right. But also it just made me feel valid. Yeah. You know, like, okay, like everything's okay in there.
So after our exams, the doctor was basically like, you guys are good. You're both good. Andie, if you aren't going first or whatever your plan is, you are good. For your age, everything looks great. You don't need to freeze eggs right now. You can ride this out a few years, and then we'll check back. So we kind of started the process knowing that I would go first. Yeah. That was like a big thing for us, is obviously IVF, reciprocal IVF, InvoCell, any of those other methods are a lot more expensive as well.
The process of me, because I don't want to carry that, I have no desire.
Zero.
At all.
Absolute zero.
And I think you did also such a wonderful and beautiful job with Milo. Like, your body was like meant to carry, like, you were just a goddess when you were pregnant. And I mean, you still are, but I'm just saying, like, wow. Yeah, you were stunning while pregnant. So for the process with me is, when we are ready, I will freeze my eggs, and then Jess will carry my egg. So reciprocal IVF, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. That is the plan for me. Like, my eggs will be frozen, and then we'll
figure it out when the time comes. Yeah, exactly. So we started with IUI. We went to our consultation. The doctor basically had told us right off the bat, he basically was like, you would find a donor first and foremost if you haven't already. Once you find a donor, secure the goods, and then call us when you guys are ready to start the process. So we went And we did our consultation actually pretty early on before we knew we actually were ready.
Yeah, because we hadn't even decided 100% on a donor yet. I think we just wanted to have a plan. We wanted to know what the steps were.
Exactly. So we spent, believe it or not, a year looking for a donor.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you, this journey was not easy. It was actually really difficult in a lot of ways. We went back and forth a lot with using a known donor. A known donor is obviously what it sounds like. It's somebody that you know who is willing to donate to your family, to starting your family. So we went back and forth with that a long time. We were actually very serious about it at one point. And after a lot of
conversations and praying and meditating on it and like just weighing out things, we decided that an anonymous donor is best for our family.
Yeah, is best suited for us. There's pros and cons, obviously, and people do it all the time. People go with known donors often. I think after like a lot of praying and conversations and talking about it, we just kind of realized it wasn't what was best for us. So we continued the hunt. We went on multiple sites. Like I'm telling you, we scavenged the internet.
We even looked overseas.
Yeah.
Like we looked at cryobanks in the UK that would ship. We looked at cryobanks in Canada that would ship. Also because a really big thing is the fact that we did not want a white donor.
Correct. Yeah. It is actually unbelievable how limited those selections are on donor websites. Yep. So we spent a lot of time searching, and you'll find obviously a majority of them are cis white males, right? And I would say diversity is not it's super lacking. Strong suit.
Yeah, for sure. But getting more into the donor too, another reason why it took so long is because there's so many different options depending on options when it comes to the information that the cryobanks share with you.
Yes.
So each cryobank is different on what they give you, right? Some give you adult photos, some give you baby photos only. Some people give you audio clips of the donors.
They write a biography. They write like a whole page that you can see their writing on.
Yeah. They write like a letter to you. Like not to you, but like about themselves.
Yeah.
It's like a handwritten letter. And it's interesting. It's an interesting process. Like I found it because essentially you're shopping.
It is the ultimate shopping spree. But like sometimes people would think like, oh, that sounds fun. I'll tell you, it's fun until it's not fun anymore.
Exactly.
Do you know how much pressure is on like your shoulders knowing you're picking
everything
like you're picking a piece of your child? Like that's the truth of it. And it's a lot of pressure because I think if you're not in our position, and you don't have to put yourself in our position, but it is a very strange feeling to know I'm not gonna have a baby with you, Andie, and who I love, who I'm attracted to. I love the person that you are, everything that you are. And of course I want that in our offspring, right? But knowing that I cannot have that with you, and I have to settle, in my opinion, it would be settling for somebody who's not you. That's like a big feeling. Like
you've never shared that with me.
Well, you can't compare. It's like,
no, but that makes me like, it almost makes me emotional because
don't get emotional. Don't get emotional.
I think that's because that's really hard for me, because being trans, I'm like, that's my ultimate dream, right? Is to be able to create a child with you. But at the same time, I'm like, Milo is us.
She's us, 100%.
Like
your baby,
the nurture versus nature thing comes in, right? And like
that's what I was gonna say.
The relationship that we've created with, like, it's just, to me it doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's a difficult thing, right? Because that's something I've had to process and stuff. But when I look at Milo now, I'm like, she's never not been my kid.
No, God, no.
She's never not like been a piece of me, because I've been there for every step of her. And like,
she
this
is yours,
the best part of it too, is like, sorry.
Okay.
our clinic let me inseminate you.
Like while Andie's like trying to catch their breath. Also, I inseminated Jess. Yes. So there's that.
So that was really that was really healing for me.
Because knowing that you were a part of it, like you did put a baby in me, babe.
I did, and it's crazy because I literally, when I had Milo in my hand, like the little tube, I was like, "You better swim fast, kid."
Dude, out loud. You said that out loud in the room.
Yeah,
the nurse was like,
laughed. And then she was just like, "Okay, let's do it." And I just was like right there, and
you did the damn thing.
Milo swam fast. So I've always felt like I was connected to that kid. Like I don't know, but that was very healing for me. But also thank you for sharing that, because we've had sensitive things around that topic.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Don't be sorry. There's a lot of emotions that go into this. And I think that's why it's important to talk about, because a lot of people don't think about all the things that you have to go through when you go through this process. It's not just the process, right? There's so many emotional attachments to things, and things not working out and not going to plan, and like I said, feeling like you're settling because you can't have a baby with the person that you love, the person that all the time you hear people like, oh, I want to have your babies, like I feel like that. I've always felt like that, like I want to have your babies, and because we are same-sex couple, like it just doesn't work that way for us. So I think you have to come to peace with that, and knowing it's not necessarily settling, I guess, because Milo
is a different path,
is perfect, but it is a different path that you need to be okay with.
Yeah, to be honest with you, like I don't think that I really was okay with things until recently. Like even after Milo was born, like it's kind of messed up, but I had to go through my own process of like, I didn't want to talk about the donor. I didn't want to even like think about the donor.
If I brought the donor up,
it was just really sensitive.
It was a fight immediately. Yeah.
And like for me, I don't ever want it to be like that, because I'm so grateful for the donor. I'm so grateful that the donor was able to give us Milo, and like now I have a daughter. So I owe a lot of things to the donor, right? But like the emotional side of being on the other side of that was and is still a process of like, it's just constantly processing it.
It is. It's a big thing. That was a huge step for us in finding a donor, was like first coming to terms with the fact that it won't be you and me, you know?
But we did. She
is you and me though.
She is. Yeah. And our donor, honestly, like what made us decide. So do you want to tell a story of how we chose the donor?
We were out at our coffee shop at that time. We owned a coffee shop, and we had just left to do a bank deposit. And I ran into the bank, and then I came out, and I got in the car, and I looked at you, and you're like, Jay, you're not going to want to hear this. And I was like, what? Because I was already like tormented with what we were going to do. We were going back and forth with the situation. And so you're like, I don't know if you're going to want to hear this, but a donor just became available like immediately. And I was like, oh, okay, just show me a picture, and then we can go from there. So I saw the picture, we saw baby picture and adult picture, and immediately I was like, okay. Because I feel like you do have to have like some sort of attraction to this person to be like, okay, yes, I could see like this could work. So we rushed home, we pulled it up on the website, and we read through his bio, we read through all of his information, and
it was so crazy, because
felt so good.
Not only that, but he was the perfect mixture of both of us,
literally.
And that was like what we were trying to find.
Middle,
like the personality, the athleticism, the intelligence, like everything that was something that we wanted to, check off, I guess, and essentially. He met those things, and it was like we hadn't found a donor that was 100% both of us. Yeah. And so when we saw that, and like obviously the attraction was already there, but then like when we read through everything and we saw like this was really, really important, our genetic testing didn't have any issues with that donor. So that's another component.
We cross-reference, obviously, like we made sure that he wasn't a carrier for things that we were a carrier for, and that is itself is like one of the biggest challenges,
Definitely.
right? And so we knew, I mean, we had to think about it very quickly because another tidbit of information, vials sell out like you would not believe.
Hotcakes.
Hotcakes. These
hotter,
things are hot.
No, dude. They might as well start doing like a fucking Jordan's Drop app for them, like
I
a Nike's
swear.
app for
Specimen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Essentially,
okay.
because that stuff goes like that. Literally,
Yeah.
when we got home, I remember checking the amount of vials that he had, and by the time we got home, it was like down half already.
Yeah, we were like, oh shit. And by the way, we had thought we wanted a donor at one point, and we went and he was sold out. Like that quick.
Within less than 24 hours.
Yeah. It was really quick. So we felt like in the moment we had to have a very serious talk, and it had to be quick because I wasn't willing to give up what felt like a piece of gold because there's just not a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
Knowing that he could disappear in a few hours was like, it's now or never. Imagine having to be like, let me find the
Person you're going to procreate with
yes, and let me just make that decision in 10 minutes
for my future child.
What the hell? But
It's
we did
crazy.
that.
Yeah, it was like game time. You know, like most pressure I've ever felt in my life. And I was like, babe, I've never been so sure of something besides marrying you, which was...
You were super, super sure.
And
I had an inkling of doubt because of everything that we had been through previously with a possible known donor and like which route we wanted to go through. So I called my therapist immediately. I was like...
And your medium.
And I called my psychic. Yes, I did. And my psychic confirmed this is the right choice, 100%.
Yep.
And my therapist, after a lot of... we had plenty of sessions leading up to this, but in this moment I was like, I think we found it, and then she was like, go for it, like this is it. So we pulled the trigger that night,
big time too. Like, so they tell you for IUI to possibly expect up to 5 tries, which means 3 to 5 vials.
Yeah, the average is like 3 to 5 tries
to get pregnant.
But obviously, again, that's not for everybody.
No, that's just like the average of what our doctor told us. Like, hey, you should prepare to buy at least 5 vials.
Yeah. But then in our mind, it was more vials than that because we want siblings.
Yes.
So, and because of my PCOS, I was very worried about not having enough vials, and because I don't know how many tries it was going to take for me. So we bought 12 vials. And let me just tell you.
Which is literally a designer bag.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If you don't know, which, you know what, this is going to come as a shock to a lot of people right now. 1 vial of specimen, and that is 1 try. If you're going through IUI. And sometimes they use 2 vials
depending
per
if the
one try.
specimen is washed or unwashed.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of things that go into it, but yes, 1
vial for 1 try, and that vial is, get ready, drum roll. Thank you so much. $1,200 is like the average, like 1,000 to sometimes I think 1,500, right? Yeah, 1,500. Insane. Okay, like I know if there's a dude out here listening to this podcast, they're running
like, I'm
going to
go donate. Well, let me stop you there in your tracks as well. Becoming a donor for a man is very difficult as well. Like you have so many, a lot of tests.
Good luck, honey. Good luck, honey.
You gotta be cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop, baby. It is unbelievable how expensive this stuff is. So a quick tidbit as well. We saved in the process, the early appointment that we had, we were saving for a while up until I would say, and also so when we got married, we had a option on our wedding registry to donate towards our fertility journey. Yeah.
It was a baby fund. Exactly. So that really helped us out. If you know, there are financial options as well. I know they have payment plans and things like that, but a majority of our stuff we had been saving for like 2 years before we started the process.
I also know a lot of people take out credit cards for this kind of stuff.
And which we probably will do for the next process
because no one is expected to have freaking 25 grand sitting in your back pocket.
And that's for like IVF. That wasn't for IUI.
Yeah. So we'll get into pricing for IUI. But so yes, that is a very expensive vial of specimen, and we did not fuck around because we knew we wanted siblings for our child. So we bought 12.
Speaking of siblings,
we're insane. Once you pick your donor, once you secure your vials, you contact your fertility clinic, and that's what we did. We contacted them, and I said, hey, we're ready to start. They said, call me when you start your period, basically. And for me, that was, I don't know when, because I have PCOS and I miss a lot of months with my period. So I was tracking my ovulation for a few months before we knew that we were going to get started. There's a lot of things that I did to prep my body. I was eating really clean. We were working out. I was taking a lot of supplements, my prenatal vitamins for like a really long time. And when we were ready, I got my period. I called the clinic, and the clinic just said, okay, come in. This is your schedule. They gave us an entire 2-week schedule to follow, basically. And this schedule was so detailed. It had everything you can and can't do, including the last day you were allowed to orgasm.
Yeah,
literally on the calendar, written out, last day of orgasm.
Like, Andie, hands off.
After this, keep your hands in your pockets, okay?
I'm like this.
Don't touch me. I guess it's just really, it's an important part of the process. So we had, I had to take certain medications for my process. So it told you the day to take each medication. It told you which medications you kept in the fridge versus out on the counter. It was so detailed.
It's very like planned and walked through.
Thank God, because I spiral like any little thing.
And this is why going to a clinic was important for us, because you are a worrywart and you like need stuff to be like very concrete. We didn't want to take any chances.
I wanted someone to hold my hand through the process, and they did that.
Yeah.
So the schedule was, like I said, very clear cut on what we needed to do. And it was about a 2-week process.
And they did another vaginal ultrasound in between to see where her follicles were at, like if her ovaries were good still. Like,
so right before the insemination, they do a ultrasound to see if your body is prepped and ready for something like this, because they're not going to waste their time and your money and energy, whatever, all of that kind of stuff, if your body isn't ready. So they checked out my ovaries. My ovaries were ready. So the next day was insemination day on the calendar, big red circle, insemination day. And the day before, I got my acupuncture, because there's been a lot of studies that show, I think especially for IVF, but I did it anyways for IUI, that it can help with fertility. So I went the day before, and it was amazing. And then the next day, we went early in the morning, insemination day. Andie took the vial, and you did the damn thing.
Jess was ready to go, and
you were ready.
Just was like, all right, let's do it. Swim fast, kid. Ready to meet you.
And then after that comes the doomed 2-week wait. So you have to wait 2 weeks to take a pregnancy test or to go into the lab and get your blood drawn to see if you are pregnant. I tested multiple days before I was supposed to, because I couldn't wait. And
you were negative.
I was negative. I was negative until the 14th day. Is that not crazy? Like, some people show it like 10 days or what, because it all has to do with your
HCG.
I can't say it, HCG levels. So I tested every day, and I was like, maybe it didn't work, because it's the fucking 13th day and I still don't see anything.
I think too, we convinced ourselves, because our doctor too told us like, oh, like
it'll take a few times.
It's going to take a few times. So I was like, oh yeah, we got 6 months.
Yeah.
We're chilling.
We were honestly, there was no pressure on this round. I know that sounds crazy, because for a lot of people there is a lot of pressure. We thought that this was
the prep. We thought we were prepping your body to have
like
a child.
3 to 5 times.
Exactly.
So we have a few months. This is like practice round.
We're fine.
This is practice round. Not practice. Double line, pregnant. It happened on the first try,
first try.
Man, we are so grateful and blessed.
We were
and that
shocked.
does not happen a lot.
No, we were shocked. And honestly, it was very overwhelming for me because I was like, holy shit, we actually did this. We made this decision to do this.
Yeah, you're like, okay, wait, we actually, there's a baby in there now. Yeah.
So it was weird, like I said, like to process things too. Like when, you know, people are like, how'd you know you were ready? I didn't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't. You do to a certain extent, but you don't know until you're in it. And no matter what somebody says to you about what parenting is going to be like, how kids are going to be, how babies are going to be, you're not going to get any sleep. You're not going to do all this. Block all that shit out.
Block it out.
Because everybody has an opinion about everything. And honestly, like parenting is nothing like what anybody tried to explain to me. It would be like, it's just been my experience with it. Like, and my experience has been that it is extremely challenging, but so rewarding. And it's the most gratitude I have in my life is seeing her be happy and excited and learn new things, and just seeing her exist and seeing her live life. It's just such a beautiful thing that it brings me so much peace.
You were so worried about like, what if she doesn't like me? Okay, there's going to be times where, of course, our kid is not going to like us, right? Especially when they're teenagers, I'm sure. But to know that you have a built-in best friend, when that baby sees you, she screams her head off. Like, she's so happy. It's just so rewarding, and it's so fulfilling.
To know that a little human like cares about you that much, or like that they need you that much. Yeah. There's no feeling.
There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
There's absolutely nothing like it. I think, like I said, for our experience in fertility, it at least for this baby, for Milo, it went very smoothly. Yeah. And like, thank God for that.
We are very blessed to be able to say that.
We have a lot of friends, really close friends that have not had that same experience as us. Yeah. And that's been really tough. And you almost feel like a sense of guilt in a way 100%. Of being like, oh my God, it worked the first time for me, and I have all these feelings around it. And like, here's my good friend struggling. And, you know, we have a few of them actually who've been through this process.
Our friends too, though, have been so supportive.
Yeah. Like, you can't compare journeys.
No, and that's the thing too, is you really can't compare journeys. So no matter what you're going through with your fertility or even anything in life, like just don't compare yourself to other people, because things are going to happen the way, I don't want to say that, but
no, they're going to happen the way they're going to happen.
Exactly. Like, and like, that's your journey.
We really don't have a say. Like, there's so many factors in what someone's journey looks like. And yes, ours was smooth. Thank God. And I don't know if the next one will be as smooth. I don't know what our journey looks like for future kids. Yeah. And
that's something we talk about all the time too. Like, when are we going to start for our next one? like, how many do we want? Like, those are still ongoing conversations. And by the way, those are ongoing conversations. You don't have to have a plan. Like, I think a lot of people, and this goes back to people saying like, oh, how do you know you want kids, right? Like, how do you know you want a second kid, a third kid? We are actively talking about pros and cons and what we're capable of financially, the life that we want to give our kids, what that looks like for us. We're trying to be responsible and make a decision that is going to make sense for us. Exactly. And we're not really putting pressure on the timeline or anything like that. We're just kind of going with the flow, but we'll figure it out through multiple conversations. And I think that's like the biggest thing too, is continuing to have those conversations with the person that you want to start a family with. Yeah. Because like I said, my mind changes daily. I'm like, do I want another kid? Yeah, I do want another kid. Well, now do I want 2 kids or do I want 3 kids? I don't think I want 3 kids, but you want 3 kids. So.
Yeah, we got a whole lot to talk about there, because I mean, I used to make jokes about it in the beginning that like I get my way, but that's actually like, that's me making jokes, but I don't actually feel like that. This is a 2-way street here. We got to meet each other halfway, and it's not my way or the highway.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You are a stubborn little one, let me tell you.
I am, and most of it is just joking. I'm just like, we're gonna have 3 because I said so. You know, but that's not really how it is.
I know, but I'm also not trying to like stomp on your dreams. So like I said, we'll just more conversations and things like that. But I think that overall, no matter what your journey is while going through the fertility process, and we'll talk about some other process or some other methods as well in like other episodes. I think
really quick, we're gonna have a part 2 to this episode. There's so much to unpack with fertility, and I'd love to share like that. We have friends who have different experiences, so I think it's good to highlight those and the different routes, and I guess financially how much. Oh, by the way, our price tag on our one-time experience through IUI was around $5,000 to $6,000.
Yep.
So but again, it's different for everyone depending on what.
That's not including buying,
not including specimen.
The specimen.
Y'all know, you can do the math.
Yeah.
Got 12 vials, $1,200. So the process is not a cheap one. There's a few things I would say to wrap this up specifically. Communication is key with your partner to know when you're ready to talk about saving financially for something like this. Make sure you're both 100% invested in the process, in whatever the outcome is, and that you're going to be there to support each other through the process, because there's a lot of emotions that go.
A lot of emotions. And just remember that you guys are a team, and remember why you're doing what you're doing. You're trying to create a family out of love. You're trying to create more love on the planet. Yeah. Right? So when you think back to why you're doing it, that can also stop a lot of frustrations and things like that, because it is a very emotional journey.
It is so emotional. Make sure at the end of the day, you guys know, like, you are on the same team. You're doing this to start a family, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So you guys can get through anything. Just stay on the positivity train, even though it can be super hard at times.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to part 2 this.
We're definitely gonna have to part 2 this.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This was kind of I wasn't expecting to get emotional. I got emotional. God.
You can't even breathe on top of your allergies happening right now. I'm like, don't cry. God. You can't breathe.
There's like a pollen storm here, so like I'm struggling a little bit right now. But
I think instead of, which I'm really excited about, instead of a question at the end of this episode, I had somebody who actually wrote in like an advice segment. Okay. So, and it's very on brand with kind of like what we talked about, and I think it's important to address it just because this person is not alone in what they asked.
Got it. Yeah. All right. What you got?
Okay. I'm going to keep this person anonymous. Okay. For their own sake of their relationship. Like, God forbid their partner sees this or something and they're like, oh my God, you wrote into the Queer Social and you fucking talked about me, you bitch, you know. Okay. Anyways.
That was aggressive. Also, don't be afraid to write in. Like, if there's like an advice thing, or if there's...
Are we qualified to give advice?
Well, just know that this is
your friends giving you advice. Yeah. This is not
It'll always come from like a loving place with a mixture of
sass. Attitude. Okay, this person said, the bullet points here are, she heard how you didn't want to have kids and that you felt like in the beginning it was just a no for you and your mind changed. She definitely wants kids, 100%. She's always felt like she was gonna be a mother.
She's you.
She is me. Yes. Her wife has always been kind of on the fence about it and has a lot of reasons as to why, like, they should wait to make a decision like that. And I think she's agreed to them too. She's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. We can wait. But lately, she has felt more against it and like bringing up a lot of excuses as to why they shouldn't.
The other partner.
Correct. Yeah. A big thing that has come up in their relationship lately is the term of saying, like, you're enough for me. Why am I not enough for you?
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Okay, you want to go first?
I would say a big part of this conversation is, one, are they 100% no? Because if someone's 100% no, I don't believe that you can make someone have kids who doesn't want to have kids. There will be years of resentment. There's a possibility it could ruin your relationship, especially if resentment is living there. Yeah. So if they're open to having kids, it's a different conversation and just maybe scared, right? So my advice would be have the conversation. Why? What is holding you back? Like, start there. And maybe you're doing it, like, honestly, I would make a date out of it. You know how we did car picnics and stuff? I would almost make it like that, so it feels like it's not a sit down conversation that's like heavy and scary. Go sit and have a picnic and talk about all the things that scare you about having babies, and throw it on the table. And I think you'll learn a lot from this conversation. I know that I didn't know why you were hesitant about having kids until I asked you what your fears were.
I agree. I mean, look, there's always going to be hard things when it comes to parenting. There's always going to be hard things in life too, regardless of parenting. So I think I really had to come to the decision for myself of, is that something that was going to be fulfilling to me, and was I going to be a good parent? Like, that was the biggest thing for me, is like, I doubted myself so much with being a good parent.
You did, yeah.
And to be real with you, I didn't have the vulnerableness to discuss those things with you either until the beginning, like quite a long ways into our relationship. And once I thought that you could understand where I was like coming from, so it's really just like what you said, like, have that tough conversation. And maybe you've had that conversation in the past, but it wasn't a place where your partner felt that
ready
they could be
to talk about it.
Exactly, ready, or that they could open up about the things that scare them. Because for me, I thought that there was something wrong with me because I didn't want to have kids, or because I didn't think I would be a good parent. Like, I thought I was a bad human because I didn't think I could be a good parent. So there's a lot of like internal things that I had to really evaluate, and like what you really helped me with. And it all comes down to having those conversations.
It's the conversations. Also, a big thing for you is you didn't want to let us go.
Yeah.
Like, you did not want to have to split your time or have time taken away from you for the baby. And like, it sounds maybe selfish in that regard but it's not. You have shifted your mindset of feeling like, not like you're losing me, but we gained another piece of us. That baby becomes a piece of you. It doesn't take anything away.
We had a great 10 years together, like an amazing life together of building memories, traveling.
As Jess and Andie together.
And for me, like I said, I think the fact that we talked about Milo so much and we spoke her into existence, and we had always made space for her when she was there. Now I just like am like, all I want to do is make memories with the two of you. I cannot wait to see
it shifted.
It does. It shifts. And I think that that's something you can talk to your partner too about. It's like, it's not about you not being enough for me. It's the fact that I want to share our love with another human, so that human can give that love to other people as well. And I think once I started thinking about like the experiences that we could experience with Milo, like traveling and doing all these things, I'm like, we're going to travel with her. We're going to go and teach her different cultures. Like, we're going to do all these things. That's what made me excited, was the fact that now I get to show a child the things that I wish that I had around my life when I was younger, but also parent a child the way that I wanted to be parented. Yeah. Or where I felt that I needed to be parented in a different way. You love me harder now, I think. But that's not a reason to have a kid. But I'm just saying, like, I know that you love me harder because you see me as a parent, and not only is that a turn on for you, but it's like you see how much I love. It's turn on. I love her, but like how much it's just a joy to like see both of us in that light. And like, it's a turn on for me too to see you as a mom. Like, you're a MILF.
Mommy. I would also say too that like it's actually really not realistic for me to sit here and say it doesn't take anything away from the relationship. There's definitely sacrifices that you make. It's like, you know, people always say put your partner first, and
but it's all temporary.
Prioritize. It is temporary. That's what I was going to say is like, yes, if there's a day that feels hard between us, or that we didn't give each other enough affection or attention, tomorrow's a new day. Like, that's not just how it is. It doesn't set the precedence for how it's going to be, right?
And that's another thing too, is just like letting shit go. Like, you learn to prioritize things that actually matter. And lastly, it was all about you. It was about my partner choice. Like, I knew that I was not going to have kids with somebody that I I just had very strict things in my brain of like how I wanted the other parent to be.
Yeah.
And you checked all those boxes and then some. So I think your partner as well needs to think about the things that would make them feel better, because at the end of the day, you're a team. And I know if anything ever had happened to us, God forbid, that we would be able to co-parent. And that was extremely important to me. It's like, at the end of the day, I have so much respect for you that if something were to happen, we would still co-parent respectfully, and I would never lose the love that I have for you because you brought my child in this world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take back all the things that we went through and all the things that you have helped me through as a human. My love for you is just off the charts. So I think that was that was a big thing of it, is like making sure that my partner, the partner that I chose to have a child with, was going to be my partner even if something went wrong.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I also think that the token of like, you're enough for me, why aren't I enough for you, it actually has nothing to do with that. The space and the hole, the void, whatever you want to call it, of being a mother, of wanting a child, is completely different than the relationship that you have with your significant other. It fulfills something totally different. It's like, you don't even have access to that part of me.
No.
Like,
I don't, and to be real, like,
you don't,
I have access in certain parts. Like, you're very nurturing to me. You're very like motherly and like give me that love that I need in certain situations.
But it's not the space I have for a baby, for my child. Like, that's something that you can't fill. So you can't really compare. You can't say, I'm enough for you, you know, like, if you feel that feeling of wanting a baby and wanting to start a family and being a parent, that's not you. It's really incomparable. Truly, it is. It's something a totally different feeling. And
to be real with you, to the partner, if you know that you don't want to have kids,
100%, you gotta let them go.
You gotta let them go, because
you gotta let them go. If that partner is not willing to sacrifice this, it's not worth the resentment later in the future. Like,
and I really knew that I was gonna have to, like, that was something that I had on my brain, was I cannot hold you back from becoming a mother, because I knew that was something that meant so much to you in your life, and you felt like you were always destined to be mother, that would be a really selfish thing of me to hold you back from that. And that was something that was really hard for me to be like, I could lose you. Yeah. And was losing you, like,
you did have to balance it for a second. Yeah. And think, like, is this worth the loss, or is this a life that I can live? Is this what I want to do? And it was a choice.
That's what it comes down to. It's a decision, and you have to live with your choices. And I am so grateful for the choice that I made, because I finally have unlocked that love, that unconditional love that I craved my whole life. And I never thought that my child would give that to me. And that happened for me. Yeah. So it's, everyone has to make the decision on their own. Like, that's just, like I said, it's a choice. It is. You have to make that choice on your own. Yeah. Look, it's not easy making those decisions, right? So good luck to you both. But just whatever you decide to do is just, you know, you have to have those uncomfortable conversations in order to make the harder decisions in life. And having a kid is a very hard decision to make. It is, yeah. And it's a choice that you both need to be on board for. Because it's not fair to the kid. Yeah. I would say communication is key. You guys are on the same team, and you have to really, really figure out what your stance is on this. And if it's 100% no, that's a conversation you guys need to have. If there's room for a yes, I'm willing to do this, I'm just scared, and this is why, have those deep chats. And put the work in. Yeah, you guys will get through it. Yeah. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. Anyways, thanks for writing in. That was really sweet that you trusted us with advice. Yeah, thanks for joining us on the couch today. This is, like I said, part 1. We're going to have to circle back. There's too much to unpack here. Exactly. Go ahead and give us a follow at 2 Babes 1 Barn, the queer social. Andie Vanacore. No, you ain't got to follow me unless you about that life. Right. If you like this episode, send it to a friend, put it on your story, share it. Like, comment, subscribe. Yes. And we will see you next time. Cool. Okay. Love you.
Did you get that one?
Lame.